Oh my gosh, let's try this again. Here we go. Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is John. This is my channel, The Origin Factory. It is Tuesday, November 26, 2024. And for those in the United States, it's the week of Thanksgiving, one of our bigger holidays here. It's always on a Thursday. It's a day of eating. We gorge ourselves on Thursday, and Friday we go shopping for what's called Black Friday here in the United States, which usually there's some good deals somewhere out in the either on the internet or in person, that kind of stuff. So what am I going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about a few deals I know of that I wanted to share with you guys, and I want to talk about everything I've been working on here at the Origin Factory for the last couple of months, since I'm getting back to my trying to get out a couple videos a week again schedule. But before I get to all that, I want to thank our subscribers. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much for subscribing. Greatly appreciate it. That's what helps us out the most as a new channel. If you haven't subscribed yet and you're willing to do so, it would be awesome. I'd really, really, really appreciate it. If you're subscribed already, if you continue to support us by either like, commenting, or sharing. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook under the same name, The Origin Factory. The Facebook page is a group, highly interactive. You can interact with other people on there. You can interact with me if you want to get a hold of me directly. That kind of fun stuff. So, first thing I want to talk about. Lowe's and Harbor Freight, as I know right now, and this is in the United States, of course, have these mini toolboxes, which look pretty cool for like a benchtop toolbox. You know, since RC tools, a lot of them are smaller. You know, you got some specialty tools and, you know, your X-Acto knife and, you know, scissors for cutting your Lexan out, or maybe tweezers and your drivers and all that kind of fun stuff. You know, hex keys, Allen wrenches, whatever you want to call them, all that kind of stuff. And I'll pop some pictures up here. This is the pink version with a flip up top and 2 drawers. This is the version from Lowe's, and I believe the retail on it is $19.99 in the United States. You might be able, I know they are on eBay also, so you might be able to buy them elsewhere in the world off of eBay. They are slightly more on eBay, I noticed. People are trying to get roughly double for them. I've seen them mostly around $40. Harbor Freight has something nearly identical, but it is slightly better and it is slightly cheaper. So they're US General brand. It looks the same. It's got 2 drawers with a flip up top. What's nicer about it, it does come with drawer liners, and it also does come with roller bearings on the drawers. And it is a couple bucks cheaper. I think it's $17.99. So yeah, it's a couple bucks cheaper. But what I did find out when I went to Harbor Freight this morning is they were selling out instantly. And I went in there, I don't know, around 9 a.m. or something on my way to the gym. And I said, "You got one of these?" He says, "Man," he says, "you had to be here and the doors open." Like, "What do you mean?" He says, "We had only had about 40 of them and people were waiting in line and bought them all." And I'm like, "Oh, man." And he says, "What's the chance of getting one?" He says, "Well," he says, "on Black Friday," he says, "we don't have them yet, but if we get them, I'm sure we'll hold them over to Black Friday." He says, "I can't guarantee you'll have them." So my plan is to go back there the morning when they open on Black Friday and hopefully snag one. So who knows? If I get one, I get one. I don't. This one here is for a gift right now. So I wanted to try it out on my bench, open it up and see if it'd work for what I wanted to use it for. And it does fit. I was a little worried about the lid opening too high and maybe because I got a low shelf on my bench. I wanted to make sure it cleared it first. So what else is going on there? A-Main has got a lot of good deals on their website, and they're a hobby store, you know, online hobby store, and they also have a brick and mortar store out in California. But their online store, of course, they got some really great deals. One I noticed the most was Hobby Wing, 20% off on the website. All Hobby Wing. In the past, I'd bought from Hobby Wing directly over Black Friday, their Black Friday sale, and they would have discounts on all their product. And this year, it's only select items are discounted through Hobby Wing directly. And I really wanted to get an extra Fusion Pro 2300 kV, which I use on a lot of my crawlers. and there was no discounts on the Hobbywing site. But Maine, you can get 20% off. And when you spend over, I don't remember what their shipping is, if it's $100. Anyways, it's not a terribly high threshold to get free shipping in the United States. But anyways, so I went that route, got my 20% off, saved $30-some off a Hobbywing Fusion Pro 2300 kV. So that was a nice deal. I did that last year too, and got a. So I think I got, like I said, I think I got it from Hobbywing Direct last year. But anyways, what else is going on? Traxxas came out with another version of their, another licensed Bigfoot, Bigfoot monster truck. They previously had the original Bigfoot, which was a late 70s, F-Series pickup truck. And now they've got, which has been commonly referred to as the Racer Stripe, which was a late 80s body style. And the main, it's like $349, and it's Stampede chassis, 4-wheel drive. Where it's sparking an interest for me is because, the previous body was like I said, the older late 70s F-style pickup. And I had used those for some racing clodbusters and was happy with them because, Traxxas does make some nice quality bodies. And what I'm really excited about, so I'm looking at this for the standpoint of parts mostly. And what I'm looking at is now that Traxxas is using more of their clipless body mounts, this is a way to get a really nice Bigfoot body with all the licensed graphics and all that kind of fun stuff with a clipless body. So what does that mean for me? It means for me, I can get a nice Bigfoot body with no holes punched in it yet. So I don't have to try to line up, existing body mount holes like on the previous one and try to line it up on my truck to not punch extra holes or punch extra holes that I really don't want to do, that kind of stuff. So this is kind of cool. I'm excited about this. I'm going to get some, because I'm going to get some more Bigfoot bodies with all the licensing and all the stickers and all that fun stuff. I can use on my drivers or my race trucks. So that's pretty cool. One other rig I got going on here. I have a Pro with HD 44 axles, a Vanquish Pro, and I never finished the rig. Started building it a while ago, went a couple different directions, then I parked it, and I decided I wanted to do. I was cruising around the internet and I saw I was looking up pictures of International Scouts because that's what the Origin bodies are based off of. They look like International Scouts basically, not licensed bodies, but, close versions, closely resembling, we'll say. Anyways, so I was looking up pictures of International Scouts looking for inspiration to do another body. And I came across this photo and I'm like, that's really neat. So here's a picture of it the way it sits right now. And yeah, we're going to make this into a Border Patrol version. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the sign shop that did the graphics for my Ripper. And I'm going to that's another thing when you use these sign shops. Sometimes you can bundle more little ideas into it. So I'm going to try and get them to do the graphics that I used on the Ripper for an optic. And then I'm going to try to throw in a few extra things like some door decals, like you can see in this picture here of the Border Patrol rig. And I'm going to have some door badges made. And these are going to be real simple for him because I'm going to give him an exact picture of what I want, and he's just going to size it to what I want, and he's going to print it. So he may not charge me much extra for that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like throwing these little extra things. I may get the same thing I got done for the Ripper, maybe roughly the same price, or maybe a little less since I did all the we've already done all the legwork on the major part of the graphics, and then try to throw in some extra stuff in there so I have some stuff for future projects. So I'm going to get Border Patrol, U.S. Forestry Service, and maybe some of the sponsor stickers that I have on the Ripper to redo some other stuff. And anyways, use existing stuff and then use some real simple stuff to add on to it. So I'm hoping to get around the same price or less. I'm hoping, and won't be a big deal. But yeah, think about that too, is try to throw in some other little things here and there that are easy to do. And then maybe you'll just kind of add it in there for a minimal cost, and you'll feel like you get more for your dollar. Instead of doing one rig, you're getting your one rig done with your wrap, and then you're getting you know, a bunch of small stuff done for future projects that you can use on other projects, or maybe stuff you already have. So think about it that way too. Because just because you're doing more doesn't mean it's always going to cost much more. It may just cost, you know, minimal more, $10, $15, $20, you know, something like that. It's like, oh yeah, we'll add that in, you know. Maybe it won't charge you anything because maybe they'll charge you a minimum for doing the custom graphics. And the more you throw in there, you might get to the point where it's like, oh, I'll do that for that. Do that for that. Yeah, I will do that also. It's very much a negotiation thing. The least amount of being a pain in the butt to that person and the easier you are to get along with, the more they want to help you. So be a good customer. Hopefully you'll get good service. Anyways, what else have we been working on? So in the shop, what I've been working on is I finished up another Origin build, which I'll flash some pictures up here. It's a black and tan. I was inspired by a newer Jeep I saw in the parking lot a couple weeks ago. It was black and tan. It even had roost, method roost style wheels in gold. I'm like, man, that's really a sharp color combo. I'm going to do an Origin in that color. So I had an Origin chassis and a blank body laying around. I was waiting to figure out a paint scheme and matched up a set of wheels that I thought would look sharp with it. The result was this. So happy to put together another Origin. We got another Origin coming down the pipeline here soon that we're working on. I just sent off a bunch of parts to anodizing, which I wanted to do a video to talk about anodizing a little bit for you guys that are wanting to get some custom parts done. Not a how-to anodize video, but maybe how to, if you're thinking about do it, what are the things you want to think about? What are the steps you got to jump through? How to find a person that will be willing to do it for you, whether it be a large commercial shop or an independent guy, that kind of thing. Kind of a little basic overview of what to expect, maybe what to expect for pricing and that kind of stuff, and kind of remove some of the intimidation by something if you've never done it before, but you've thought about it, another alternative is Cerakoting and that kind of stuff if you want custom metal, custom colored parts. What else have we been doing? Ripper. Our original Ripper. I finally got some graphics done for it. Mine is a blue with a gray cage, chassis number 67. I was reaching out to the usual suspects that had done graphics for Rippers in the past, and not going to jump on anybody, mention any names, but I just wasn't getting any good responses from anybody as far as willingness and that kind of stuff. And one did say he would, then just kind of led me on for months and then never followed through and blah, 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 blah. So anyways, I gave up on it. I came up on an idea of my own of what I wanted to use for an inspiration for the graphics. And how I came up for that was I just started Google searching sponsors that I liked and colors that I wanted to use that would complement the body color of my Ripper, which, like I said, is blue body panels with gray chassis. And just started putting the pieces together, and I ended up coming up with a Dodge NAS truck that'll flash up here. That was kind of my inspiration for the color scheme. And so then what I did was I went out to, I'd done work before with sign-in graphic shops. You'll probably, wherever you live, as long as you're in a sizable area, enough people live there to make a business like that worthwhile. If you're in a town of over 20, 30,000 people, you probably have at least one vinyl sign shop because, they do work for everybody, whether it be businesses, for individuals. But anyways, wraps on cars, that kind of stuff. Anyway, so if you look for sign shop, vinyl graphics, do that kind of search in my area, you'll probably find one close to you. And so since I had done work with them before for my businesses, to logo up vehicles, do advertising type stuff, kind of idea what I was in for, but I was hoping to work with somebody who'd done Rippers before, so they would at least have maybe cut it to the exact shape and all that stuff, and maybe be able to do it a little quicker and that kind of stuff, or maybe use existing designs they had and tweak them or whatever, just to speed it up a little bit. But it wasn't happening, so I ventured off on my own and thought, well, I'll just do what I've done in the past, and I'll approach the sign shop and tell them what my idea was and show them some pictures and bring my Ripper in there. And lo and behold, the shop closest to my house, he says, yeah, we've done RC stuff before. And I hadn't worked with this guy before because I hadn't done any vinyl work in a long time. And the guy I had worked with before, I gave him a shot at it, and he's like, man, if you've got it designed and laid out and you just need somewhere to print it and you need to use my equipment to print, you can, but otherwise I'm too busy to do design work. I'm like, okay. I says, I don't have a design laid out. He says, well, sorry, I can't get to you right now. So I went to this other shop that was close by. Like I said, brought in my Ripper, brought in this picture of this NAS truck and showed it to him. And he's like, yeah, we've done RC stuff. Cool. And he says, I want the size to fit on here. And I had a good idea, since I had experience with doing it, I had a good idea of exactly how I wanted it laid out, which that makes a ton of difference with this process. If you know exactly how you want it and you have good examples of what you want to use, it's easy for them to apply that. If you say, man, I kind of want it to look like this, kind of that, they're going to charge you by the hour, and it's going to be very expensive for them to talk it through with you. If you can come up with your, like I did, just an inspiration for how you want to do it and just size it and scale it to what you're putting it on, that's fairly cost efficient. Or if you've got the ability to do it on the computer and lay it out and do almost all the work, and then maybe he's just got to scale it and tweak it a little bit and size it to your rig, that's going to take time off, because basically they're going to charge you per hour on this project. What they're going to charge you per hour, I do not know, because it's going to depend on where you live. But it's possible to get custom liveries if you really want it done. And I will say that I paid $200 for mine, and it was a back and forth process of maybe 2 or 3 times. He came out with the initial layout. I made some tweaks. I said, I want this here, this there, move this, move that. He got really close on the second try. I mean, almost good enough to print. I was like, I'm going to tweak it a little bit more. And give him very specific design, very specific description of how I wanted it changed. He obliged, and we were there. So a matter of going back and forth twice got to us ready to print. It was really quick. I got it done in 2 weeks, and grateful to them for them squeezing me in, because I know they don't always like to do little jobs like this. So, but like I said, it's not going to be as cheap as getting a set that's done already. And when you're using sponsors and names and stuff, you're not going to be able to sell this to anybody. You can do this stuff for yourself and not get in a bunch of trouble, but you use trademarks and licensed graphics, licensed trademarks and all that kind of stuff, and you try to sell this stuff to other people, maybe you want to start making money on the side, you better do it below the radar, because you'll get nipped for it. So, so don't expect me to be selling these to you. I will just say, if you want to do something similar, you're going to have to go to a vinyl guy, sign shop, whatever, and say, here's what I want to do. Can you do it for me? Blah, blah, blah. Like I said, it's going to be a per hour type thing. You can ask for an estimate up front if you want, but they're probably just going to tell you it's going to take as long as it takes. It's going to cost what it costs. And it'll be at least this much and less than this much. And you're just going to have to decide at that point if it's worthwhile. So that's what I've been up to. What do I got coming up? Also, we got Ripper 2 coming up from Vanquish. And they did talk about on their live stream recently. Some of you guys said some stuff in the comments about my prediction video, about what I thought it was going to be. And we put some predictions to rest, because one of you guys mentioned that I was predicting it was going to be independent front suspension, like an Ultra 4 vehicle, like a King of Hammers race rig. And Jim said something, well, that video is not going to age well. Meaning, because it was in direct reference to being independent suspension. So, we now know it's going to be solid axle front and rear, which is not a surprise. That's par for the course for them. There's probably not a lot of call for doing an independent front end unless you're trying to make something prototypical. But anyways, so it's definitely going to be a solid front axle. I went back and looked some of Jim's videos and stuff he released early on when he first started carving these things, the original, the chassis for Ripper 2. And it very much looks like the optic chassis. And then when he did that parts tray picture that he posted, I don't know, about a month ago it's been now, for their anodizing parts, it definitely was all the parts of the optic chassis. So it very much looks like the optic chassis. We really don't have any bigger clues on the body panels. I don't know if it's going to be an aluminum, basically an aluminum optic or not. We're still waiting to see that. They're not far enough along to release any pictures yet. So with being that they were doing their anodizing, that does tell me that they're really close to packaging these things up. And if it is the optic cage, when they wrote the manual for the optic kit that they just released, boy, they can borrow that kit and just, change a little bit here and there. And then you've got the directions for an aluminum cage versus the plastic cage, change the hardware and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm sure it's coming soon. I don't know if they'll squeeze it in before the end of the year. It'd be fun to see it before the end of the year, but who knows? But because they did just release the optic kit, which this looks like it's going to be their holiday special for this year, which looks pretty cool. It looks like it's only going to be in black cage for this release. It's going to be, like I said, kit form. So you assemble it. It's going to be one of 6 liveries. And I did do a video on it more in depth, so I'm not going to go too in depth on this one. But there was 6 liveries, and there was a chance to get a carbon fiber livery, or carbon fiber panels with a different livery, which was not going to be nearly as many produced as the one of 6 liveries. It was going to be like a random one, kind of like a bonus for a select few, for a few people, but not everyone type thing. Not high numbers, but they said it'll be popular enough that if anybody's on Facebook, they will be sharing them pretty quickly. So it sounds like they did do a fair amount of them, and they did hint that the cost of the panels carbon fiber panels are pretty expensive, probably worth more than the kit. So don't expect to see them on the website for sale. If you're going to want to buy a set of the panels, you're probably going to have to buy them off of a Facebook group on somebody that's willing to sell them. And I got to imagine they're going to be pretty hot and sell really quick, and they'll probably have a pretty hefty price tag on them. My speculation on price, I have no idea because it's whatever people are willing to pay. But I'm kind of guessing people are going to ask. They're going to try to get at least $500 for them, I'm guessing. I don't know for sure, but that's just what my gut's telling me, because they went and said it was more than the kit, and the kit's $389. It's 404 bills. So I think somebody's going to try to ask $500 for it, or try to get $500, or maybe they'll ask higher and they'll go down. Who knows? Once the stuff gets in the groups and people go crazy over limited edition Vanquish stuff, the prices go crazy. So who knows? But it doesn't sound like they're going to do anything else this year. It's going to be strictly the optic kits with one of 6 liveries with a chance to get the carbon fiber one. So what else is on my list? I think that's about it. So anyways, thank you for stopping in. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great holidays, those of you in the United States. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving. I'm going to try to get back to my 2 videos a week. I'm going to try to get on to an overview on anodizing and what it means to anodize, and a little bit about the process, and help educate you guys if you want to tackle that on your own for custom wheels or that kind of stuff. So anyways, once again, thank you to my subscribers. You guys are awesome. Thank you for subscribing. It's what helps us out the most as a new channel. If you haven't subscribed yet and you're willing to do so, be greatly appreciated. If you're subscribed already, if you continue to support us by either like, commenting, or sharing. And you can find us on Instagram and Facebook under The Origin Factory. Like I said, happy Thanksgiving to those of you in the United States. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. God bless.